But yeah, today is going to be like quite different because I got an email a couple of weeks ago from a subby, and she was just telling me about how like she gets bullied at school and like how things are quite tough for her, and just asking for advice and stuff, and if I could do a video on bullying. To be honest, I think everyone's been bullied at one point in their life, whether it was for a short period or a long period of time. Everyone's been bullied. It's something everyone can kind of share. Like, I used to get quite annoyed when I used to talk about how I've been bullied, and people would be like, yeah, I used to get bullied too, and it makes it feel like your experience wasn't bad. It makes it feel like what you went through wasn't anything special or wasn't anything particularly hard. For me, bullying got quite bad in secondary school, but it was weird because it was a different kind of bullying. It was like a subtle kind of bullying. Like, what girls tend to do is, if they feel like they need confidence, they'll draw it from other people. So they'll see that someone's got a shred of confidence about this. It doesn't have to be looks, about what they're good at, or, you know, an interest, and they'll take it and they'll use it for themselves. So they'll make you feel small to make them feel bigger. There are people like that, and it tends to work if the other person is weak enough to let it happen. And that was basically me. I was just, yeah, I think being skinny and being dark-skinned, I mean, yeah, being dark-skinned at the time for me was like the worst thing. And everyone who I knew who had a lot of attention from guys and were considered pretty and beautiful were always light-skinned girls, or at least a lot lighter than me. And it's weird because girls who were dark-skinned with me would be like, damn, you're really dark. And it's just like, I thought we were in this together. And it was hard, definitely. Obviously at that time I wasn't allowed to like have weaves and extensions or dress how I can dress now, and that had quite an effect. Like, I was used to being ignored, and I think it got to a point where I was no longer upset about it. Like, people used to like say that I was bulimic and anorexic because I was so thin, and after a while, after someone keeps on saying something to you, it almost becomes the truth. And I used to just think I might as well kind of succumb to what they think I am. It's like, when you're not what they think you are, it's painful, because you want to tell them that you're not a loser and you're not, you know, every idea that they have of you, you're not that. And it's almost easier to become what they're saying you are, just because there won't be any pain in it. You just agree with it. Kind of like how some people laugh along with people who tease them. It's kind of like that. And I would be so upset when guys would call me ugly, and like, it's like the thought of me kind of repulsed them. And dealing with that at like 15, 16 is quite hard, because you're already trying to figure out who you are as a person, as a girl, as a woman, and you're trying to grow, and it's like people are trying to chop you down at the same time. In the 90s, personally, I think that all black people were trying to be the same, and there wasn't really any individual black identity. Everyone wanted to look the same, be the same, listen to the same music, watch the same films. Everyone wanted to literally just be as one, and I was never like that. I was geeky, I still am. I was awkward, and I still am. And I make witty jokes, like, probably not on here in person, I don't know, but yeah, I have quite a dry sense of humour, and I didn't watch like things that everyone else watched. I didn't listen to mainly hip-hop. I like country music, and I like freaking pop. But people calling me posh all the time, and it doesn't feel like that big of an insult, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, it's not the word, it's what they meant by it, in the sense of, you basically are white, you're not black, we don't class you as part of us, like you're a sellout. In other words, that's how it was. And it's sad. I think now I see it's ignorance. I remember crying to my dad, like, Dad, why do they keep on calling me this? I'm not saying being street can't get you to the top, but there's like being flat, like one-dimensional, and there's being three-dimensional. And someone who's three-dimensional is versatile, and they can change it up. Like, you can be street and then you can be well-spoken at the same time, and that's the way to get forward. It's not just by sticking to what you know and just sitting in your comfort zone. I'm so glad that I looked how I did, and that I was skinny and I was dark skinned, and I love my skin. And I'm grateful that I had all of that, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't have concentrated on what I needed to concentrate on. Like, I knew that I didn't have my looks, but I knew that I was talented and I could use my talent to make things that no one else could make. And even if they could, a lot of people I knew at that time, they didn't like see ahead and see that secondary school in general, people who you know, the attention, the guys, it's only temporary. And I was looking ahead at what I wanted, and I started just really getting my grind on, really, like proper. I think that was the time in my life where I perfected most like small talents that I had, like talents that were really small were able to grow because I kept on feeding it, like almost like a plant. I already knew I could draw. I think I started drawing when I was like 3 or 4, and I got better and better and better, and I had time to concentrate on that because I wanted to prove that though I may not be something on the outside, I had something that no one else could do. I mean, I'm sure there are thousands of people who can draw better than me, and there are thousands of people who can draw worse than me, but no one can do it like I can do it. And that's how you should see it. If you have a talent, there may be people who are better than you, there may be people who are worse than you, but no one can do it like you can do it. No one can do you better than you. And I've heard that so many times from good friends, and it's so true. I started writing more. I wrote my first novel when I was about 15, 16, and I remember everyone wanting to read it, like even guys wanting to read it, because there was such, like, people would pass it around like from person to person, and it felt so good to be able to be good at something and to be recognized, to be acknowledged. For me, nothing is ever about being popular. It's about being acknowledged for something you can do that no one can do like you can. So that's what I did, really. And yeah, I kept on working hard, and I hope that my story has kind of helped other people, helped you guys, whoever's watching and going through something like that, to understand your situation better and understand that it does only last a short time, and there's literally such a big world ahead of you, like just waiting for you. And at the end of the day, I think bullies they're quite weak and they need strength, and to get strength they push down other people, and people like that will get their karma. To everyone out there who's going through it, I know it sounds really sad, but just literally keep your head up. Every successful person that I've read about has been downtrodden, and it makes their story even more inspiring. Like, I don't want to read about someone who's been really cool and like gone through nothing hard and got their way to the top. That's not an interesting story. Why people love stories like Obama and things like that, because they had to overcome struggle to get to where they've got to, and in the end it's only going to make your story more inspiring and you a stronger person, I think. Subscribe, favorite, like, share.